Hey guys, this is James Hernandez. How's everybody doing? And welcome to a new video. And today I'm going to be doing a movie review. And today I'm going to be doing a review for a found footage film that I just recently watched. And today I'm going to be reviewing Cloverfield. Now, Cloverfield is a 2008 found footage monster movie, which is produced by J.J. Abrams, and it was directed by Matt Reeves. So this movie centers on a group of friends who were celebrating a goodbye party in the city, and until it was interrupted by the rough shake around the city, and the city is actually under attack by a giant monster, which is terrorizing New York City. And while that's going on, one of the main characters has to go rescue his girlfriend, who actually was almost injured when her apartment actually collapsed on her, and they had to go on the quest to go rescue her while they had to get out of the city because the monster is still wreaking havoc. So, so I actually heard of this movie when not when it came out, but it was when I was starting to get into giant monster movies, since I actually review two monster movies on my channel. First being was Peter Jackson's King Kong, and the other one was 1998's Godzilla, which I have been requested to review. So I thought to myself, how about I review this movie that is actually a found footage? And this is actually going to be the second time I'm going to be talking about a found footage movie, because the first time I reviewed a found footage film was the first Paranormal Activity last year for the time of Halloween. So I thought to myself, how about I review another found footage movie that I actually watch? And it turns out it's Cloverfield. So the first time I watched Cloverfield is when I was at my uncle's house, and it's usually one of those found footage films where you see the characters' points of view, holding the camera, and then all of these scary shenanigans was just going on in the city. So after watching Cloverfield, what do I think? As a found footage giant monster movie, I really enjoyed it. So I thought the movie was actually really enjoyable to watch. Now, even though found footage can be a mixed bag when it comes to people, because there are times where people can be a fan of found footage, and there's some people that are not a fan of found footage because they can't really see what's really going on when the shaky cam was really over the top. And to a degree, I actually understand where people are coming from when it comes to found footage. Yeah, shaky cams can get really annoying. Even when movies are not found footage, there were some shaky cam moments. It does get very old, very repetitive, and very tiring at the same time. But this one is the exception. Even Paranormal Activity is the exception. So directing wise in this movie, I think Matt Reeves did a very good job. That was the same guy that did Cube and the Two Strings, and he also did the recent Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, who played Batman, who was in the Twilight Saga movies. And I think the direction-wise, I think he did a very good job of making this movie kind of look like you're seeing a real-life event of this monster that is terrorizing New York City, while you see the character's point of view. And usually the scenes with this monster right there, oh my God, that monster is freaky. So yeah, the Cloverfield monster is so terrifying to the point where you couldn't really describe of what type of monster that this creature is, because this creature was it was standing on two legs. It's got the longest legs when it was rampaging through the city. And what's even scary about this monster is that this monster has the ability to not only causing destruction in the city, but he also seems to summoning these little tiny creatures, which are Cloverfield parasites, I think it's called. And these monsters are so poisoned to the point where if these monsters actually attacked you, you basically would die for at least 30 minutes, which is horrifying, or probably even shorter than that. And then all of a sudden you just blew up, which is scary. And as for the characters in this movie, we actually followed so far we actually followed three characters, Hud, Lily, and Rob. And we also got the extra character named Marlena. And these characters were going on a rescue quest to rescue Rob's girlfriend named Beth, while the monster was terrorizing the city. And you were with the characters throughout the whole time in this entire movie when the monster is wreaking havoc in the city. And and they have been like going through a lot, like even like when they're next to the military, when the military was like bombing the creature, and then they were in the subway where they realized that they saw all the rats on the floor were running in the same direction as the main characters. And then there was a reason why the rats were going in the same straight direction as the main characters were, is because in the subway they realized that they're actually being followed by those tiny little creepy parasite Cloverfield monsters, which I thought it was really nightmare feel. It's so nightmarish to the point where I was like, can you imagine like going in the subway by yourself and then you see these tiny little creatures coming after you? I would have been like, oh hell no, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna get these creatures near me. I gotta get out of here. Like if you thought that these little baby Godzillas from the 1998 Godzilla movie, or even the raptors from Jurassic Park is terrifying, these creatures are much worse, because these creatures are like so fast paced, and once they bite you, you're done. Even if you survive, you're done, because like I mentioned in the beginning, these parasite looking creatures can actually end your life even if you like survive the attack, which is scary. And usually like they're just like all over the place when these like parasite creatures were coming out of the monster's body. And then like even the military tried so desperately to like destroy those little creatures, but even the military has to like get out of there, otherwise those little creatures will jump on them and will kill them for at least about like, I don't know, like 20 seconds or something. And then the scenes like where the monster was wrecking the city was really suspenseful, and it was very terrifying. And and at the same time it was cool to see, because I actually was like wondering like what is like causing like the city to be under attack. And then we actually got to see some like shots of the monster, and the monster is horrifying. And it was just like causing all these like wrecking the city, and then the military was like shooting all these missiles at the monster, and this monster does not even go down. Even like the bombs like that these guys were like shooting at the monster, and the monster was down, and the monster keeps like going right back up. So you would think that the monster was defeated by the military, but it turns out the monster was like surprise, and then he just like attacked the helicopter, which was like at the main characters, and it was pretty scary. And as for the ending of the movie, if you guys have not seen Cloverfield, if you don't want to know what happens at the end of the movie, go watch the movie first, and then come back to this review, and then you'll figure out like what I'm going to be talking about right now. So as of right now, let's talk about spoilers. So at the end of the movie, it turns out that like after when HUD, Rob, and Beth survive the helicopter accident from the monster, it turns out that the monster actually was right there, and the monster is humongous. And when the monster was like looking at HUD from the point of view, HUD couldn't even like move. He couldn't even like run. He was like so speechless and so terrified of the creature, to the point that the creature was staring at him, and then he just like attacked them by opening its jaws and starts like attacking HUD, and then HUD was killed off, and it makes you go like, damn. So yeah, and then like the two characters Rob and Beth they grab the camera, and then they run. And to the point where I kind of felt like the ending kind of bothers me, because I mean, not to say the ending was terrible, but the problem I have with the ending is that like instead of like keep running, like they decided that they had to like stay under the bridge in I think, what were they at, like in Central Park or something. And to the point where I was like, okay, I mean, if there's nowhere to go, then but still, like, why would you like stay in the middle of like the battle where the military is bombing the creature? You know, you guys are gonna get yourself killed. And I'm just like, why can't you guys just go to Brooklyn or go to Queens if the whole havoc is taking place in Manhattan? Why you guys stay at the city or something? Like, if I was in this movie during like the monster was wrecking the city, I would have been like going somewhere else. I would have been like, I'm getting out of this city. I'm gonna go to Brooklyn and go to Queens, where I can actually feel safe from this like from this war zone where the military was bombing this monster. And I think that could have worked for these main characters, but unfortunately they decided, oh no, there's nowhere to go, and then we had to like stay under the bridge. And I was like, oh come on, guys. Like, you guys could have just like keep moving. Like, you guys actually want to get killed or something? Like, what's the matter with you people? So yeah, unfortunately, like the ending, much like in pretty much like in every found footage film, even Paranormal Activity, it did not have a good ending at all, because usually like they have their last recording to say their last line to the audience, who they were basically like talking to the audience when they're like recording the camera. And then they actually end up like getting killed off by the bomb of the creature, when the military was like still bombing the creature, and the creature keeps like going and going and going and going, to the point that the monster does not even die. So unfortunately, yeah, like the ending was so messed up, where the two main characters that you thought they were going to survive the situation, they did not like end up surviving at all, because they decided to stay in Central Park underneath the bridge while the military was bombing and shooting at the creature. But yeah. But overall, guys, I think Cloverfield is actually a very fun monster movie. I think it's actually one of my favorite found footage movies, and I think Matt Reeves did a very good job with the direction. And before you guys ask me, I have not seen 10 Cloverfield Lane or Cloverfield Paradox. I haven't seen those. But I heard them, they're not technically like a direct sequels to Cloverfield, with the exception that there was a scene from Cloverfield Paradox that I actually just heard that they actually got to see like a Cloverfield monster that was like rising from the clouds, and it roars. But however, though, I did heard that there is going to be a direct sequel to this movie, and I heard it's actually going to be in the works. So I'm actually pretty excited to see what they're gonna go from there, because I've been like hearing like rumors and talks about like they're gonna make a direct sequel to this movie, which I think this movie is like one of the most like underrated films in the 2000s, even like when it comes to like monster movies, because when people talk about giant monsters, they mostly talk about Godzilla and King Kong, which those are good monster movies too. But there's like some other giant monster movies where I think it really does deserve the fan base, and it really does deserve the recognition that I think it deserves. And I think Cloverfield is one of them. So yeah, so I think that's all I got to say about Cloverfield. I think it's a really fun giant monster movie, even for found footage wise. I think it's really good. The characters, not much I can really say about them. I think they're pretty good for what they are. Like, I think their acting is fine, nothing too spectacular, and the monster is legit terrifying. Like, if I see this monster right in front of me, I actually would be really, really, really scared. Even when those like little creatures that were coming out of its body, it's nightmare feel. And I'm not gonna like, I don't know, I'm not gonna forget that. But anyways, guys, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give Cloverfield I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. This is a very fun monster movie. I think the ending could have been a little better if the main characters actually would just like get out of Manhattan and just go straight to somewhere else where they can be safe, instead of like, oh, we got to stay here like under the bridge, and then the military is going to find us, and then it did not end up well for them. But other than that, I think this is a really fun monster movie. If you guys really want to see like a giant monster movie that is like kind of like has like the concept of Godzilla and a bit of like King Kong, but if it's actually found footage, then this is a movie I actually do think that you guys should definitely check out. Even if you're a fan of Matt Reeves' like direction, and if you're a fan of J.J. Abrams, this is a movie I think you guys should definitely go watch yourself. And then I think you'll definitely will have a good time like seeing like a found footage movie where this giant monster was like wreaking havoc in the city. And usually like it's really terrifying to watch. So folks, I think that's all I got to say for today. This is my review for Cloverfield. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of Cloverfield? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Are you a fan of found footage, or you're not a fan of found footage? And have you seen 10 Cloverfield Lane or Cloverfield Paradox? If they're good or not, let me know in the comments below. And feel free to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and turn on the notifications when I make brand new videos. And stay tuned for the next video that I'm going to be doing like another character's face-off episode. And that one's going to be in the works. So So anyways, guys, that's all I got to say for today. And hope you guys enjoy my review for Cloverfield. This is James Hernandez, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.